Wow!
What's up, YouTube? Today, I'm going to share the 3 biggest lessons I learned from reading the book Atomic Habits. Lesson number 1, change is hard. You may think that after reading a book like Atomic Habits, the scale will start moving in the right direction and beating bedtime procrastination becomes easy. Well, if our knowledge equals our practice, change wouldn't be so difficult after all, wouldn't it? I absolutely love the framework and the practical advice this book has to offer. But as helpful as the book is, I still struggle every single day. Mainly because I'm still human. Our brain loves a rush of dopamine, and many of us have an addiction to our phones. All the apps, the news, the messages, you can be glued to it 24/7 and not get anything else done. It makes me realize how little self-control I have, and I'm indeed a product of my environment. I don't think that going back to using a simple phone is a solution. As a result, I have bought this timer box to help me to curb my addiction. I lock my phone in it whenever I need to focus. This is a commitment device I mentioned in one of my videos. I learned that the best way to stop a bad habit is to make it impossible to do. Lesson number 2, accountability is a must. There are only 2 things that drive all human behaviors: to avoid pain or to gain pleasure. Instant gratification is so powerful because it accomplishes both at the same time. Scrolling through social media does not only help you to avoid the pain of doing the hard work, but also gives you the pleasure with the constant release of dopamine. Well, this is a battle that you and I face every day. On one hand, all of us want to be smarter, better, and healthier in the future. But on the other hand, very few of us are committed enough to give up the present comfort in favor of the future self. To fix this, I learned that we all need a system of accountability. You get penalized for not showing up at work, but what are the consequences of not committing yourself to a good habit, like reading or exercising? Well, for most of us, the consequences are insignificant enough that we just move on like nothing has happened. What I have done is I began recording my habits with a habit tracker, and I also have someone review my progress weekly. Knowing that someone is watching is a very powerful motivator because none of us want others to think less of us. I need accountability because I came to the realization that my self-control and my willpower are often very limited. Lesson number 3, use the 2-minute rule. Another incredible lesson I picked up from the book is that hard habits like reading, writing, and exercising are not as difficult as you may think. It is the fear of doing the hard work that makes those habits difficult. Too often we tell ourselves, I have to write a 10-page paper. I have to read an entire book. I have to go to the gym. The thoughts alone would put most of us in a state of procrastination. Here's where the 2-minute rule comes in. Once you read the first page, wrote the first paragraph, or left the house for the gym, it becomes much easier to continue doing the same thing. As American author Steven Pressfield once wrote, it's not the writing part that's hard. What's hard is sitting down to write. I like to think of it as getting up in the morning. It's not the morning routine that's hard. What's hard is getting out of your bed. Instead of thinking how daunting the task is, just simply focus on the very first 2 minutes. My experience tells me, many times you'll probably fail to continue after the first 2 minutes, but that's okay, because one of these 2 minutes will somehow gather the right momentum and turn into 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or even hours of deep focus at a time. I don't know what it is, but if you're struggling to get work done, I think the 2-minute rule is really worth a try. So, here are my final thoughts about the book. We often fall under the impression that massive change requires massive action, but James Clear consistently emphasized that the contrary is often the case. Massive change comes not from some one-time earth-shattering improvement, but from the compound effect of hundreds of tiny changes over time. In addition, this book dismisses the conventional idea that we can accomplish anything if we just put our minds to it, work harder, or just have a bit more motivation or self-control. It states quite the opposite, to be honest. James literally says that resisting temptation is not fun, self-control is difficult, and motivation is overrated. The stoic approach to behavior change will rarely succeed because it goes against the grain of human nature. Instead, The book aims to provide the actual means and the systems that all of us can implement without violating our underlying desires as humans. Overall, I think the reading is very smooth. There are no complex scientific jargons or terms. James also picks stories and examples that all of us can easily relate to. I highly recommend this book to anyone who wants to change any aspect of their lifestyle. Atomic Habits will immensely help you to be more productive, healthier, and even happier. Thanks for watching Words of Wisdom. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.